Is it a waste of time to put a subwoofer into a small room? Steve in Burbank, California would like to know if it's a waste of time and money to install a subwoofer in a small 10 by 10 room with bookshelf speakers. That's a very interesting question, and thank you, Steve, for asking it. I want to show you this room. I know it's kind of hard, and for the Ohm's Law listeners, you can't really see where we're at, but this room is, I think it's, if I remember right, it's 11 by 11, so it's very close to Steve's room. It's a very tiny room. Right now, in this room, we're building sprouts. That's where the sprouts come in and they get tested and built, but it's a very small room. And what's interesting, and the reason I bring you to this room, is because this used to be music room 2. Now, a lot of you have asked, wait a minute, you keep talking about music room 1, where the hell's music room 2? Or is it, well, this used to be music room 2 until we got so squeezed that we just ran out of space and we could no longer keep up with production, and so I lost my music room 2. But in here was, I think they were a pair of teals. They were teal, yeah, I don't remember which teals. Well, and teals don't have bass. I mean, they just don't. Tom Teal was a fan of a particular kind of construct for bass, and it never went deep and it never went low. They were great speakers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would not have had them in this room if they were not a great loudspeaker, and they were. But they had no bass. So the very first thing I did was put a pair of subwoofers in this tiny room. Why? Well, because my speakers had no bass. And you know what, Steve? Your bookshelves have no bass either. And so if you want full range audio, regardless of the room size, you're going to add a sub. And if you have the ability, you're going to add 2 subs, left and right. I am an advocate of subwoofers, have been as long as I've been in this business. And I'm trying to think of what we had. I think I had a pair of the Martin Logan Descents. They were a pretty cool, kind of expensive, but they were a very cool subwoofer. Currently, I recommend REL to people, REL, which is it was a British company, but I believe it's now American. But anyway, regardless of what, you definitely want to add a subwoofer, even to a small room, even to a room this small, or even smaller, even to a bedroom, because full range audio has a magic to it that you just simply can't get without having that full range into it. And don't worry about the room size. You're not going to turn that sub up very loud, and you're probably going to have to futz around with where you're going to place it. I mean, I think, if I remember right, the speakers were here, and I think I had to move the subs over a little bit because when we put them in the corner, it was just too much. And then there was another one over here, and I think our whole listening area was right here. And it worked out very well. I stuck to Paul's rule about subwoofers. You do not want to notice the sub. If you notice the sound of the sub, you've got it wrong. Simple as that. Turn that sucker up until the main speakers sound like they have bass, and then that's enough. As soon as your ear is going, there's the sub, I hear it, boom, boom, it's too much. And I don't care what size room you're in, big or small, that is what you need to pay attention to. Do not notice the sub. And if you get that to where the sub disappears and the main speakers sound like they have bass, you are in like Flynn. Okay, thanks. And good luck, Steve. Get yourself a pair of subs. All right, man.